I'm Kelly Sullivan.
Hi, I'm Maddie Hartman.
And this is David Weber, the Boston College representative.
Hello.
Alright, so in the past, BC has a history of accepting a large proportion of Stonebridge applicants. So what sets Stonebridge girls apart from normal applications?
That's a great question. I think Boston College, while it's a highly selective school, does end up admitting quite a few Stonebridge applicants because the Stonebridge applicants, in general terms, meet a lot of what we're looking for in an applicant. A well-roundedness from a student perspective, so being strong in a variety of different subjects. They apply into programs that I think best fit their interests. So we admit students into the education program and the nursing program, and there's a lot of different types of students from Stonebridge that apply to BC. So I do think there are so many different types of students at Stonebridge that are looking for different elements in their college search. They find that at Boston College, and they know how to apply. They know that their strengths will match up well with the needs of Boston College, and with that, we want to admit them. There's not a quota at Boston College. We don't look at, let's say we get 25 applications from Stonebridge, we don't say, you can only take more than 10. We admit in general sense, maybe 25 to 28% of the kids that apply to BC. But if, let's say, 30 kids apply from Stonebridge and we admit 10, we're already taking 33%, so higher than our overall average. If 20 of those 30 looked good to us and met all the needs of Boston College, we'd take 20 of that 30. So I think the girls that go to Stonebridge, the students that apply from Stonebridge, they meet the criteria of Boston College. They fit within the academic programs that we offer, and they're good kids. They have lives that I think encompass a lot of the Jesuit ideals of Boston College as well, where they're strong in academics, but they're strong in their community too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, Boston College is the most popular college in the DMV. How does that feel?
Well, I don't know. I do have to take a little bit of credit for it, I guess, personally, because I've been coming and visiting schools down here for the past 8 years. But no, of course I cannot give credit to that. Boston College is just really fortunate to have great placement within our city. A school that sits on the cusp of an urban and suburban environment. I think a lot of students from Northern Virginia, this part of Maryland, and the district look at the community that Boston College sits in and say, that's not too different from where I grew up. That's not too different from what I experienced as a high school student, but it's still 400 miles away. And I can have a really incredible college experience that's going to be new to me with the people I meet, but it's going to be in a setting that's familiar to me as well, where I can access a world-class city, but I can live and make my home at a really beautiful campus as well. So it's great. I feel honored to represent Boston College in a region like this, because honestly, it's in my personal opinion that the Maryland, Northern Virginia, Washington, D.C. region is the best region you can have as an admission counselor in the country. With the schools that we have, both public and private here, with the diversity of students that you're going to meet through this region, and then also the college counselors that I get to interact with multiple times throughout each and every year. It's a really, really special place to be a student, so it feels good. To answer your question in the short term, it feels really good. Yeah.
Good.
Okay, so how should one approach a college rep?
I think knowing that those of us who work in the college admission offices are human. I don't think we should be considered gatekeepers. I don't think we should be considered ones who hold the fate of every student in our hands. It's so much more complex than that. We're communicators, we're educators, we want to have conversations with students. We want to make sure students have all the information they need to make good decisions about Boston College. I would never want a student to be intimidated as they approach us, because we've all been through this process just like you. We just happen to work in a field where we're on a yearly basis working with students who are in a pretty stressful process. I think it's great for students to interact face to face. I think it's great when students take the lead and say to mom and dad, it's okay if you take a back seat, I got this. I think that that's the way we want to interact with students. Make sure that it's your voice, make sure you're the one answering the questions. Make sure, make sure what's important to you and what you value is what you're going to communicate to us. That's the best way to interact.
Okay, next, what are some tips you have for freshmen, sophomores, and juniors in high school?
Yeah, a freshman, sophomore, and junior in high school, I think you have to first embrace the opportunities around you. Don't become so consumed with the college process so early on in high school. Focus on what's most important and present in your life, and that's performing well each and every day at Stone Ridge and embracing the opportunities in student government and athletics and the arts and all the different things that you can do in and out of the classroom here. I want students who are 9th, 10th graders to really grab hold of that. But I think a student who's in 11th grade, that's the infancy of the college search. That's where it really begins for you. And I think students in 11th grade can start to change their mindset a little bit from being, a college student who's just really excited, or I'm sorry, a high school student who's just really excited to be part of their high school community and engaged in the spirit of their high school, but now thinking to the next step and the transition point that will occur within a year or 2 years of being a junior in high school. So for a junior, I think it's a completely different ballgame than freshmen and sophomore students. A junior is when you start really establishing the list of schools that you're going to apply to. It's when you really start having conversations with counselors, family members, using the resources that are available to you to start to investigate institutions that will hopefully be a good match for you. Completely different ballgame for juniors than it is for freshmen and sophomore students.
So, how's your Greek life?
Fantastic. At Boston College, it is, I think it's known throughout our student body that Greek life, while it does not exist at Boston College, there are a lot of real positive and interesting attributes to Greek systems that are all over the country. There's a camaraderie that takes place within an organized fraternity or sorority Greek system. There is accountability of one another. Oftentimes, you'll see that Greek systems at institutions around the country will often report their house or organizational GPAs because they work hard and they compete with each other, I think in a healthy way. I think Greek systems also embody a philanthropic spirit. There's service that's part of Greek systems. And while that doesn't exist at Boston College, I think students at BC establish a lot of their social circles. They have the service element that also can occur in a Greek system, and they have the camaraderie element that also occurs in a Greek system within clubs, organizations, and maybe most importantly, within service clubs and service organizations. I don't know if there's any students at Boston College that would say, boy, I really regret not going to a school that doesn't have a Greek system. Because I think they're able to get all of those elements at BC without having to pledge a fraternity or sorority. But at the same time, I truly feel that the Greek system can be a great opportunity for some students as well. It's much more than just social. And I think every student, as they work through their college search, as they visit campuses, as they may explore that conversation with students out of the universities, they'll see that it's more than just a social opportunity.
Okay, and so apparently there is no such thing as a stupid question, but let's be real, there kind of is.
Mm-hmm.
So over the years as a college rep, have you gotten any stupid questions?
Yeah, excuse me, I'm sure I have. And it's not, maybe it wasn't the question itself that's stupid, but it's the way it was asked that just really was off-putting. Hey, you know what, in all aspects of our lives, and you'll find this as a student in high school, as a college student, and when you're in your professional life, you're going to encounter people who just communicate in different ways, and you might not understand where they're coming from or what they're trying to get at, and you leave that conversation just shaking your head, wondering, am I ever going to get that 5 minutes of my life back, But maybe in the end, and maybe this is something that we'll all come to grips with as we move to the later stages of our life, maybe there was a reason for that conversation. Maybe there was a reason for that question that I just didn't know the backstory to at that time. And I think that's that's an understanding that I think everybody probably develops as they move forward with their professional life. So in the moment, could a question seem stupid? Probably. Does it usually happen in a college fair setting? Probably. But with that, again, you don't know the backstory. You don't know where that kid's coming from, or you don't know why that parent asked that question specifically.
What is your favorite part about being a college rep, and I guess your least favorite part?
My favorite part of being an admission counselor is the cycle of this process, in that I get, through several months through the calendar year, I get to interact with students, I get to interact with counselors and their families. I get to spend a lot of time with my coworkers in the office. And just when you feel as though you can't visit another high school, well, then that part of the process ends and you move into the application review process. And just when you feel like you can't imagine reading another application, well, that part of the process ends. And then you move into the yield process, which means you're working with students who are admitted to your school, and you're helping them make decisions on whether or not to enroll. And just when you can't imagine doing another open house for admitted students, that process ends. And the summer rolls around. And like most professions, summer gives you time to refresh and to recharge. And when you're in August, that's when you start planning for that next cycle of going out and visiting high schools all over again. So the best part of my job, obviously, it's the opportunity to communicate with students, to tell, hear, and relate to students through stories and through experiences. But it's also that the job never stays the same for 12 months. It always changes. The most difficult part of my job is, and I don't think this happens everywhere, but at Boston College, one of the most difficult parts of my job is reading such a high volume of applications. And when you're reading anywhere from 1,300 to 1,500 applications from November to March, it's taxing. It's not hard to do, it's not manual labor, it's tedious, and your mind is always working through well over 1,000 or 1,500 applications, and that can be really hard. But like I said before, just when you're finished, just when you know you can't do anymore, that part of the process ends, and you're able to go on and do something else.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good luck.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.